What's up, YouTube? Are you not enjoying the new changes to Trade League? Are you stuck in limbo, wondering what to do next? Are you tired of having more deaths than divines? I'm about to show you the build I used to get to level 92 in endgame mapping in hardcore solo self-found. Alright, jumping right into it. This is my level 92 Disciple of Verashta commander. And I call her the commander because all of her abilities are commands. That's how she does damage. She tells minions and djinns to do things, and then things die. The way bossing looks on this build is you take advantage of things like shock and overcharge from your skeleton storm mages, exposure from frostbomb. I'll show you quickly what that looks like here. So I like to precast my tornadoes to get the next cast ready. You can have 21 down at once. Then I'll put frost bomb down. I'll stack 3 bombs on the target, and you'll notice that my critical stacks have got up to 10 now. When this happens, I like to then spam my Kalari's Deception to nuke the target. This is how you can do damage with this build, and there's not many bosses that I've fought that survive long enough to do more than a few attacks. The way this build scales damage is primarily through spirit stacking. I have 368 spirit, and I use this spirit to get as many different possible minions as I can, and then with the support gem muster I can get 7% more damage for each different minion that I have. Also in the passive tree there's nodes like at your command that say minions deal 10% increased damage with command skills for each different type of persistent minion in your presence. So this is basically the overarching concept for the build. Stack spirit, get different minions, do more damage with your primary djinn. The way this build survives is by having a large hit pool and a large amount of physical damage reduction you get through Sacred Rituals, which says 60% of your current energy shield is added to your armor for determining your physical damage reduction from armor. So I'm currently sitting at 70% physical damage reduction. If I was to get suffixes like this one on my shield that says 38% of armor also applies to elemental damage, this node does not scale the numerical value of armor. It only is based off the total current energy shield that you have. So any armor that's being applied to elemental damage is only taken from the numerical value that armor has, which I currently have 2,794. So 23% of that will be applied to elemental damage, making you slightly weak against elemental damage in comparison to physical. On the tree, I've taken every energy shield node available to me. Also the energy shield armor hybrid nodes that were available. I do plan on going chaos inoculation, but currently I'm taking advantage of Ed's Disdain, which gives me over 2,000 energy shield right now and allows me to not need to invest so heavily into stun and ailment thresholds. Charms are doing a good enough job as of right now, and I'm just happy with the setup. Alright, quickly going over the gear. I have focused on primarily stacking as much spirit as I can, so I'm getting spirit on every gear piece that allows me to do so. My amulet, my armor, and my scepter. My scepter is notably bad with the tier 8 increased spirit, so I'm only getting 127 total spirit from this scepter. So I did go with the prefix 55 to spirit on this chest at the cost of a armor energy shield modifier that could be there instead. This might change if I can get a better scepter. I'm running life mods while I'm still stacking energy shield through Ed's Disdain. So I've got life rolls on rings on my belt. I don't have it on my boots. I've got it on my shield. That will change when I go to Chaos Inoculation. When I go to Chaos Inoculation, I'll replace this shield with a focus, triple prefix energy shield, a desecrated mod +2 to all minions. I'll change the helmet to either a full energy shield helmet with minion skills, or I will change it to a armor energy shield base, or armor base depending on the rolls, and test out the runic helm node. This might be good, I just haven't got to see how good it is yet. As far as the belt goes, I like to run the charm effect duration belt with at least one mod on there having some charm effect duration. I like them to last a long time, whether I'm using a gold charm or a stun charm. As far as the scepter, it's kind of a debatable thing on which scepter you could use. The three options of scepters that you have to use are Omen Scepter, Shrine Scepter, and a Rattling Scepter, and they're all good in their own right. I prefer to use the Omen Scepter because I want the Malice Aura to inflict enemies with critical weakness that are within my presence. You could use the Shrine Scepter. If you go to your gem tree and you look, they don't actually cost you any spirit, these support gems to run when they're ran under a Shrine Scepter. If I was to run these, say on the Malice Scepter, things that cost spirit actually cost spirit. So the Shrine Scepter can save you suffixes on gear. If you're struggling to get resistances, you can use the Shrine Scepter to help you through that, and also to give you some really nice support gems through like Vitality 2 or Cannibalism, depending on what you're needing. It's a really good scepter to use, I would say, in the mid game. And then your early scepter could be the Rattling Scepter. Now this is mainly good because it gives you just another type of persistent / reviving minion, which is just more damage. So I think you could use any three of these scepters in the late game. I think that the Malice Scepter shines the most when you're scaling crit, but if you get +4 minions on any of these skills with crit mods, damage mods, cast speed mods for minions, you might consider using that. Alright, moving on to skill gems. Supports. For Resound the Blazing Sand, I use Bidding 3, Muster, Long Fuse, Overreach, and Fire Penetration. Muster is what this build is being built around, the concept that I do more damage for each different minion that I have, so this will be on every skill gem that follows. Bidding 3, I chose to run Bidding 3 here over Bidding 2 at the cost of the 30% more damage multiplier, for the simple reason that you can have 21 runes or 21 traps out at once, and being able to cast this quickly allows you to get closer to that number than you otherwise could with Bidding 2. I have Long Fuse. This essentially has no downside given that the traps will proc if an enemy walks over them, and the bombs will blow up if the enemy dies. So this essentially has no downside for 35% more damage. Overreach, again, is 40% increased area of effect with no downside since minions are not affected by accuracy rating. Fire Penetration, just to ignore the enemy's fire resistance. Sorry, the Tainted Sands. Bidding 2 over Bidding 3. I want the 30% more damage multiplier, and I'm running it with Muster, Heft, Concentrated Area, and Brutality 3. This is my boss killer, your rare one-shot ability, and your biggest damage button by far. I'm running the Malice Aura, and I'm using Prolonged Duration and Upwelling, and that makes it so that minions deal 30% increased damage while you are not on full mana, which you never will be when you're playing this build, although it is not a mana hungry build so far. This could change when I get minion level scaling. And Vitality 1. I'm going to skip Purity of Lightning since I am not currently running that at all, and I do not weapon swap in this build currently, although I could. I'm running Skeleton Brute with Rapid Attacks, Immolate, Muster, and Heft. Skeleton Storm Mage. I use this as one of my only minions for utility. So I have Muster, Shock, and Overcharge for 30% shocks, Feeding Frenzy 2, and Dominus's Grasp. This is to chain more. You can run chain if you want in place of this. This just chains 100% more times without a damage reduction. I could care less about the damage of any of these minions. The Jin is what does my damage, but why not have it if it's free? Utility seems to be the way to go. So as far as the Skeleton Storm Mage, he is who shocks for me. Skeleton Frost Mage, Rapid Casting 2, Feeding Frenzy, Muster, and Minion Mastery. Again, this could be used for utility. Maybe you want to do some freezing. I just currently am running damage on it. Skeleton Sniper, Feeding Frenzy, Physical Mastery, Rapid Attacks, Muster, and Bidding 2. I run Bidding because I like to blow up the poison clouds. I do actively use that. Skeleton Cleric for reviving your minions, healing your minions, Rapid Casting, Minion Mastery, Meat Shield, and Last Gasp. There's an argument to run Last Gasp on all of these minions. There's a tech that you can do a weapon swap and have Last Gasp up to where whenever they're close to death or have died and are in that Last Gasp window, you weapon swap and then they fully revive at full HP. I don't do that just for the simple fact that I don't need to, because I don't care if these minions survive or not. I have Frost Bomb that gives you big exposure, especially if you take the exposure nodes, which I am not. But you could take this on a weapon swap and take overexposure and the nodes that correspond with it, and you could take this strip defense node down here, and you can also take some cast speed nodes to help you cast it out faster on a weapon swap. I recognize you can do this, I just don't. I think it's clunky still. I don't like the way it feels. But essentially you run Overabundance, Potent Exposure, Magnified Area, and Spell Echo. You can get 2 of these down, pulsing at once. Alright, moving on, the Spectre I use is the Valguard. I use Muster, Minion Mastery, Feeding Frenzy, Multi-Shot 2, and Immolate. Now, this Spectre is very good. He applies oil to enemies that cause exposure, and that oil can be ignited to cause burning ground. A Skeleton Reaver, I use Immolate, Heft, Rapid Attacks 2, and Physical Mastery. And then Skeleton Arsonist, I use Muster, Feeding Frenzy 2, Multi-Shot 2, and Fire Mastery. Again, I just like to reiterate that none of these support gems are locked in stone, and depending on what you're wanting to do, it's really cool that you can use these minions for utility and not care about the damage that they do, or if you want to go all in damage, to do that as well. That's one of the beautiful things about this build, is the versatility that it has. I stream every night on Twitch, so if you'd like to join me, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. That was my Disciple of Verashta build overview. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you want more in-depth build guide on this, or a leveling guide, what I did, I can provide that as well. Let me know if you want that down in the comments below. And yeah, hopefully you come give Hardcore a try, Solo Self-Found a try, and maybe use this build to get you as far as I got. So have a good day.